Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday, a beautiful Monday. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff, me, Ryan McGuffey from the Recap Studios here. Brought to you by our fine partners at Hooters. Visit originalhooters.com and find one of the 11 Chicagoland locations nearest you. Welcome after a NFL draft weekend has come and gone. The Chicago Bears with several new members of their draft class. We're going to discuss that. I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, we had the Colston Loveland recap lunch hour on Friday discussing the Bears' 10th overall pick. And then from there, what happened? So Friday, the Bears decided to go with Luther Burden, who a lot of people really like and think he's going to be a big-time player on this team, for the 39th pick. And then they traded back, which became a theme. The Bears started to trade quite a bit in this draft. They traded with, I believe, the Buffalo Bills at least a couple of times. They moved down to 56. They moved to 62nd. So they had 39, 41, 72. They traded the 41st to go 56 and 62nd. Ozzie Tropolo, the offensive tackle, and then Shamar Turner, the defensive tackle. And then we have day 3, which that's a whole nother debate. But let's talk about this because there's a lot of people out there and there's a lot of grades, Mel Kiper, et cetera. NFL.com has their grades out today. And the Bears across the board are be giving a B+. It's really, I feel kind of about the Bears overall draft, specifically the last half of it, because I don't really love what they did at all. I'm going to pull up, I like the way NFL.com said it. They said this. NFL.com said, day 1 grade for the Bears, A-. Day 2 grade B+, day 3 grade C. And I feel like that's a pretty fair assessment of what the Bears did. Eric, Guff, my man, Bears had a good draft this year. We give them a B+ because they added weapons in round 1 and 2 and depth pieces in rounds 3 through 7. The Bears' work starts now since the draft is over. Yeah, no edge rusher. 7th round running back, which a lot of people, the kid from Rutgers, a lot of people think there's a lot of value there. He had 2 straight 1,200-yard years, and maybe they do. Maybe he becomes the best pick of their day 2 class. I think they overreached for a couple of the linebacker from Maryland. A lot of people didn't have him on boards. He did run a 4.440 at his pro day, so he became a fast riser after that. As far as the Cubs, good homestand overall, tough loss last night. But like I said, Guff, if we need to finish with a running record in April, that's fine with me based on the schedule we had, third base need and pitching. Yeah, there's definitely a third base issue when it comes to the Cubs. We could talk more about that in a little bit. OD, Bears draft was so-so to me, but this all comes down to development and game day execution. So we'll see. Shedeur, last name hype, dwarfed his actual accomplishments, which is why he slid. The Shedeur thing is interesting. I mean, it got to a point I thought it was ridiculous. I think he's better than some of the quarterbacks that went before him. I really do. I know I don't think he's a top 10, maybe even a first-round quarterback. I was surprised. And clearly the way there were some reports that came out specifically about his Giants meeting that he came out unprepared for their second meeting, and Daboll called him out on it. And Shedeur pushed back, which basically forced the Giants to say, thank you, we're good here, which I'm all fine with because this is the NFL. This is not your dad's college program. Commanders struck a deal to build a new stadium in D.C. Your move, Kevin Warren. P.S. Hello, Clyde. Clyde's already getting a shout out just in case we ignore him. Pablo, Bears barely addressed D and O line. I get that we got players that can be impactful, but it seems like we're still worrying about the line and no one is addressing it for the last 2 years. Pablo, I actually feel 100% dead on with you. I like the pick. I like the Shamar Turner 62nd overall pick. But look, the tackle they got is primarily a right tackle. They say he can play left. He said he can play left. That's fine. But you didn't draft an actual tackle for specifically to the left side. I would have liked to see an actual tackle that's played on the left side for the bulk of his college career. That didn't happen. They do expect him. He's a 6'8" beast. They do expect him to get some reps at O tackle, but I'm with you. I feel like we're still sitting here going, okay, interesting. And I feel like a couple of times the Bears were ready to pounce like on Travion Henderson, and the Patriots picked him the pick before. And not that they panicked, but they were like, and now what? And, you know, I don't know. And then the trading down, the multiple trade downs, like I thought that there were some spots where you could have kept the pick and added an actual stud player. I think overall the Bears did a good job. I just don't like the back half of their draft. What do you do with Ben Brown? Would you give him one more chance? Yeah, Becky, because the Cubs are already in a tough spot trying to fill one void, I think Ben Brown stays in the rotation for now. What's up, Swayze? My guy, Breck. Happy Monday. Rockies are officially the worst team in all of professional sports. I just was looking at this before I came on because the White Sox are 7-21. The Rockies are 4-23. Dude, the Rockies it could happen. Maybe the Rockies challenge the 2024 record. What was it? It was 62 years before the record was broken of the 62 Mets. And now we're sitting here with a chance that the White Sox record could last 1 year. That's sad for baseball if it's true. Adrian, if I'm the Bears, I make calls to Indiana and New York to acquire Thibodeau and Jonathan Taylor. The Giants did pick up Thibodeau's fifth-year option. They got some studs over there. I really like what the Giants did. Really like what the New York Football Giants did in the draft. Even like Cam Scatabo, I thought like that was going to be a good player for the Bears. And once he went off the board, there was that run of running backs. The Bears traded out. Did they get spooked? Did their player get picked? I think it happened a few times. Godfather says Poles did it again. A B plus, that's crazy. I'm not giving him a B plus. I'd probably give a B minus because I liked the first pick. But I didn't think second through fourth. I do think the best player in their draft class might be the receiver, but I thought the receiver pick was it's not a pick of arrogance. It's another weapon in a spot where I thought you could have used something different. So you know what, Godfather, I'm going to go B minus because I liked the way the draft started, but I didn't like how it continued, the continued trading back, the continued projects that were being drafted, depth pieces. I don't know. I kind of left the NFL draft feeling unsatisfied. And that's not a great place to be. So B minus. Wayne, Guff, I've never heard so much bitching about draft picks. No NFL team ever gets every position filled they needed. I watched every interview. All these young men deserve a chance. Whoa, Wayne. I don't disagree with that. I always make my son watch the interviews because I love the appreciation these guys show. They talk about their parents, their grind, their coaches, their siblings. I love it. It's the one draft where you see that kind of love spread and these guys in the moment, so emotional. I just think, Wayne, there's a couple things here the Bears did not address personally. Edge rusher being one. What a great day, Guff. The sun is shining. The Steelers took Harmon and not Sanders, and the Bears did okay with their drafts. I agree, an edge rusher and maybe another defense to help with depth. First three picks, last three, meh. I do like the running back pick, too. I do think the running back pick, Swayze, for me, was a stamp that they didn't just throw the last few picks away. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I do think that was like, oh, okay. That's a feel good on the way out because I wasn't feeling all that great. And that 7th round pick, here's what NFL.com said. So here's where the linebacker, Hippolyte was picked a bit earlier than expected, but he has the quickness and toughness to make an impact on special teams defense. Frazier's a bit of a project in the 5th round, but he did intercept 6 passes. Newman could contribute at guard or tackle. And then the running back could prove to be the best value of all of these picks. Is that Moningai? I have to get these names right. You would think I would have. I do like that pick for sure. I like, you know what? I kind of feel good about the way you judged it here. First 3, A. Last 3, meh. Always a question mark with all of his picks. 7th round running back. Well, hey, Godfather, let's not crap on that. At least he got a running back. But I think if some of the running backs he wanted, I honestly think were picked like in the picks leading up to the Bears' next pick. Shedeur and Ewers should go back to school. Yeah. I mean, Shedeur had what, a $6.8 million NIL deal that he left on the table. Can't go back now, Jimmy. They've been drafted. Can't go back. Draft's over. Erica, as far as the second round is concerned, I think I would have loved to see a left tackle pick first. However, I guess we have to wait and see how it all plays out. Yeah, that's where I'm at. But I do think this is where, like, trading back, I was confused. I know they acquired another second round pick, but like, I'm going to look here. I wanted to see the draft second round pick by pick because I love the kid from Minnesota, but he was picked early. He was picked, let's see here, because that's who Olin loved too. That kid. So the Bears originally had 39 and he was on the board. And then they had 41. And I don't know. This is where they traded out. And then Ursary went 48. Like, that's where I was like, the trade out felt weird there to me because I thought you could have got your tackle. I thought that he was going to be the guy that you could plug and play. He didn't start playing football until his junior year of high school. You love one of those games. He started the final 38 games of his career at left tackle. And then the Commanders drafted Connolly. So I thought I liked that pick a lot for the Texans. And that's where the Bears traded down. And that's a good example of where I was like, I don't like that felt weird. I understand you get the second round pick or the third second round pick, but I don't know, man. There was a really good player on the board for you right then, and he was selected. Wayne says, I trust our new coach to do what's right for the team. Let's give him a chance to work his magic. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I don't trust him. What I'm saying is I just would have liked to have a damn left tackle. And maybe they have one. Maybe they do. But I would feel a lot better about a guy who played the final 40 flipping games of his college career at left tackle than a guy that's played some and say, yeah, I could do it. Like, that's where I'm at on it. Like, I'm going to pull his Ozzy's up. Ozzy, 6'8", 316, started 10 games at left tackle in 2022 and 24 at right over the past 2 seasons. So played left tackle, moved to right. See, that's where I'm like, I'd rather tell me he played his last 10 games at left tackle and then, okay. I don't know. I'm looking at offensive tackle might not appear to be a pressing need, but Braxton Jones going into the final year of his contract and Poles isn't taking chances. I guess he can go back, but I would like it to be flipped. Do you think we should sign J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb since we didn't get a running back till the 7th? I could see that for sure happening. Now, of those two, neither I would call like a Ben Johnson type fit. So, but I do think they can use another running back in that room. Their draft says win now mode is on. They've been saying that though too, Jimmy. Breck, what was extremely interesting about the draft was watching some of the kids with huge NIL deals taking significant pay cuts to play in the NIL. Yeah, like yours, $8 million a year to less than $1 million. Crazy times. That's going to be the interesting thing to see going forward. Like the amount of money Shedeur made, and now he's going to have to go work, and for much less money. So hope they save that NIL. That's why the NIL seems backwards. You're getting paid up front rather than getting paid for what you've done. And so it seems a little backwards, and it is, to Breck's point, extremely crazy times. I like what the Bears dad said. Lip, we got the steal of the draft in Luther. Maybe. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think that's going to end up being a good pick. But I don't want to hear any more about Caleb not having weapons because he's got plenty. Good afternoon, Guff. 5-3 homestand was good. Definitely get a third baseman. As Cap said in the recap yesterday, the Cubs don't have a major league third baseman on this roster. They have a lot of backups. I'd just rather bring Matt Shaw up and let him play. But the problem with Matt Shaw's hitting 192 at AAA Iowa. Now, he only has one strikeout, and it's not all about batting average, but that's where we are. Let's go. Kyle wants to get a hockey nugget in there. Breaking news, Penguins part ways with Mike Sullivan as head coach. If I'm Danny Wirtz and Kyle Davidson, I'm putting a call in right now. Made the playoffs 8 of 12 seasons. Coaches in one multiple Stanley Cups. That's the kind of guy I bring in, and especially after David Carl from the University or Denver DU pulled his name out of contention for the Blackhawks job. Now I'm all about finding a guy like this. Bring him in and let's go. To your point, I love talking Blackhawks hockey with my guy Kyle. He is something else, and he's all over it. So Carlisle's out. We know that. Or Carl's out. We know that. Draft grade for the Bears is a B. 85% says Lip. Okay. I want to hear Olin Kreutz's grades. I bet you Olin's is probably a little lower. We should have got a running back in the 4th round. There was a run on running backs throughout the draft. Looking at the 4th round, the Bears, they did all kinds of trading. So they didn't have a pick until 132. Here's the run. This is how the draft started in the 4th round. Receiver, running back. And then there's some other players. Then we get down to the 12th pick, Trevor Etienne from Georgia. Running back, linebacker, running back. Then there was a run before the Bears picked, of course. Edge, safety, edge. Running back. By the time it got down to the Bears again, they went with the linebacker. So I'm telling you, I think there were a lot of good players available for them, and they just either they went ahead of them or they traded out. And here we are, kind of recapping some of what I feels. There's a few head scratchers in there to me. You know what's not a head scratcher? Going to Hooters for their spring beer specials in those big daddy mugs. Summer Shandy, Dos Equis, and Blue Moon. Some tasty, cold favorites on a warm day like today. And it makes me happy to sit here and say a warm day. The shrimp tacos are $9.99. The mahi tacos are $14.99. We could jump back on the tender tacos for $10.99. You guys know I like that Manganero sauce because it's a little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat, and the McGuffies always finish off with the cinnamon pretzel bites, the perfect treat to complement a great meal. And if you don't like the Big Daddy mugs, there's the $6 cocktails all day, every day at Hooters, one of 11 Chicagoland locations, originalhooters.com and order.hooters.com if you'd like to get your order to go. Speaking of Shedeur, says Swayze, GM saw that he played great against bad teams and horribly against teams of substance. That BYU debacle pretty much sealed his fate. I just don't know if he goes 5th round. And then what the Browns? Browns take Dylan Gabriel, then they come back and trade up to get Shedeur. Now you got Dion saying he's going to be part of the first meeting. That's a lot of the reason teams didn't draft him. Do you think there's any chance the Bears sign a serious pass rusher before the season starts, similar to when they signed Khalil Mack? Remember, they traded for Khalil Mack. That's a great question. Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati, do they re-kick the tires on something like that? The Bengals drafted a defensive end, which was an interesting pick, a good pick. It could be. Maybe the Bears aren't done yet, and I don't think they are. We already had that one. Phil, will the Cubs man up and get Arenado? Well, it takes 2 to tango, and I don't know how much the Cardinals want the Cubs to get Nolan Arenado, but I also don't think it matters because the Cardinals are not a good baseball team. And are you okay as a Cub fan trading a prospect of note for that? The Cardinals, by the way, 2-11. 2-11 on the road. Only your Colorado Rockies. Well, the White Sox are 3-13, so I guess there's something there too. Those are the 3 of the worst teams on the road. Bubs, looked like the draft wasn't falling the way they wanted and went with BPA according to their board. You're probably right, and it feels like that's the way Ryan explained him when him and Ben Johnson were up there going through their draft process. And Ben Johnson even gave him a look at one point that was like, okay. You could tell maybe Ben wanted to jump and get a running back at some point. Thomas, hopefully the Cubs don't start slipping offensively. This weekend was lackluster. They should be able to handle the Pirates if they don't face Skeens. I think they face Skeens. I think the Cubs are facing Paulie Skeens on Thursday afternoon. But, by the way, the Phillies are a really good baseball team. And it's okay maybe that the Cubs, for once, didn't score 7 runs a game in a series. Shota Imanaga tomorrow. Then the Cubs will throw out Matthew Boyd. And we get to Thursday. And the Cubs will face Paul Skeens on Thursday against Colin Ray. Wayne, there's a possibility the Bears make trade or pick up guys that are dumped. I'm not giving up final yet. Roster will be a game one, no doubt. Genuine, they were talking Belton until Green Bay did. Yeah, you can't control what happens in front of you. Godfather, Bryce Harper said the Cubs were his first choice to play in 18. He also never got an offer from the Cubs. Some things never change. Tom Ricketts is a cheapskate. And then there's a report this morning that somebody asked Bryce Harper this weekend about the meetings in 2019. He said the White Sox were his favorite one of all the teams. He confirmed it with his wife, and that Jerry Reinsdorf did not show up for the second meeting. Can't say it's gospel, but that's what I'm telling you. That's a report out today. My guy, Chef Paul. Sorry about my NASCAR pick of Josh Berry to run third at 10-1. He was running third. A bird hit his windshield at 190. Hey, if there's anyone saying sorry, we had a 1-4 week. We get back up on the horse this week. Those weeks happen for sure. Did I watch film on our picks? I definitely watched film on Colston Loveland. And there's still a lot of services out there that say Tyler Warren was the better pick at 10. And I don't believe so. I think Colston Loveland long-term is the best pick. His film to me stands out way more than Tyler Warren. I have not watched film on the later second round picks and beyond. I'm looking forward to looking at some of this lineman tape because I really want a left tackle. Gregory, the Bears are winning 6 games. They can't run the ball. No running backs. Put Swift on your fantasy league. He'll have to run for 2,000 yards. I'm not sure why they can't run the football. They have 4 new linemen going into the 2025 season. You're saying they don't have running backs. I say it's April 28th. Let's wait and see what happens. I need Hard Knocks on the Browns just to see the quarterback room. No doubt. That would be awesome. What's up, Eli? I don't understand why everybody's so mad about having more offense. We always complain that we don't have offense. No, I'm not mad about having skill positions. I want to make sure Caleb is put in best position to win. As long as that blind side's protected and he can throw the football, let's go. Erica, my guess is as the schedule lightens up for the Cubs, I think that's when you bring Matt Shaw back up. Pretty good analysis there. Let's be real. The only winner of this draft was the Browns. The only winner, I really like what the Giants did. I really do. Big fan of what the New York foosball Giants did. Didn't pick a safety in the draft. Are the Bears depending on Brisker to stay healthy this season? History says get a backup. Yeah, it's very clear that they are leaning on the health of Jaquan Brisker. But look, I'm not going to criticize. Like, you get to the 5th, 6th round, those are all you're hoping to catch a flyer. 5th, 6th, 7th round, you're hoping to catch a flyer. So I thought they needed an edge for sure. I thought they needed a left tackle for sure. I prioritized both of those over safety. I'm sorry, man. I've just never liked Poles as our GM. I can stand the project player BS. He constantly does that to show how smart he is and mostly fails. Fair. I don't think that's unfair. Who do you believe what team had the best draft? I think the Browns are definitely in the mix. I mean, the Browns, I like what the Cardinals did too. The Arizona Cardinals really tightened up that defense. And yeah, I don't really like what the Falcons did. Oh, I love what the Baltimore Ravens did. You know, Mike Green had some red flags, no doubt. But talk about a team equipped to handle them. Mike Green goes 2nd round, 59th overall, and I think is going to be a dude for them. Also, Jack Sawyer, I know he went loyal, like he was a great college player. Love what Pittsburgh did there. Like, is there any doubt that he has 9 sacks next year as he plays off the double team of TJ Watt? They got Caleb Johnson, like a perfect 3rd round running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Will Howard, a 6th round quarterback. Like, I really like what Pittsburgh did. I hope Jess feels the same because I think it's an interesting draft. The Browns started strong, became the Browns again. 5 quarterbacks on the roster. They have needs almost everywhere across the board. And they also have draft concerns because they traded so many future firsts for Deshaun Watson. I love the trade they made with Jacksonville. I thought that was an idiotic trade for the Jaguars to give up a 1st rounder to move up 3 spots. Don't understand why Tim Elko is not up on the club. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow. Interesting to see. when the White Sox have an off day, so does Charlotte. We'll see if there's a move coming. Who's the next prospect coming up? Lip, I think it's Tim Elko. Do you want a 4-2 or 5-1? Always want a 5-1. Always, but I'll take either one. A winning road trip's a great road trip. Last year's film is not fair to Loveland as Michigan didn't have a quarterback. Watch JJ when he was there. And I would say for Tyler Warren, go back and watch sophomore and junior year. Tape doesn't look the same as it does as a senior. Commanders draft sucked too. I like the Josh Connolly pick a lot. Clarifying, the reason why the Browns are the only winners is because of the Jags. I love the Jags trade. A couple more here as we come down the stretch. Like Eli said, if Elko isn't called up and Vaughn is still batting in the heart of the order, you are an unserious organization. Get ready for we want Elko chance. Look, they're 7-21. It depends on what unserious means. They're not serious about winning this year anyway. The Bears drafted a right tackle and we want a left. Reminds me of when I would ask my mom for a hamburger from McDonald's and she would say, I can make you a hamburger when we get home. Just draft a left tackle. Pablo, that's really, really good. The Seahawks did have a sneaky draft. You're right, Lip. Tommy, how do we underappreciate the value of a good running game in the middle of winter in Chicago? Let's just wait and see. Rudy, 80% of the players that the Bears picked, they brought them in for a visit. Means they wanted to draft the players they drafted, not the running back. That's a fair point. Unlike Travis Hunter, who's drafted by the Jaguars and says the last time I talked to them was at the combine, which is absolutely asinine. I was surprised. Maybe people don't want to put up with some of the stuff, but the talent to me is better than 5th round. Kyle Davidson must get this coaching hire correct. I don't trust him. Hiring a coach is not his strong point. This is a big one. Guff, I'm surprised but pleased with most of the draft picks. Steelers needed to focus on defense for draft. They are aging, and we need a running back since Najee's gone. And I think they did a great job of addressing both. Time for the bet of the day. Been a rough slide here. Kept the Aviators off, Pablo. We got to earn them back, my friend. We can't go with the Aviators unless we earn them. I'm going with the team that's earned it a lot lately. The Detroit Tigers open a road trip against the Houston Astros. The Tigers, 8-2, their last 10, have sneak. I'm saying very sneaky. A very sneaky 18-10 record. Best team in the American League, the Detroit Tigers. They've won 4 straight, and ready for this one? They have the best run differential in all of baseball. They are playing hot jack. Flaherty on the mound tonight. Getting a little bit of plus action here. We've fallen to under 500, which is disappointing. You see the April record there, 7-12, and we were 1-4 last week. Hey, that's accountability, people. That's accountability. Owning the warts, because we're going to have 4-1 weeks, 5-0 weeks, and the record's going to change. I'm going to ride a little baseball action today. Both the Cubs and White Sox are off today, and I think the best team in the American League kind of doing things, making noise when no one's watching or listening right now. The Tigers, super, super sneaky. I almost went NBA or NHL playoffs tonight too, because I do think there's some action there. Cleveland, I think, finishes off Miami tonight. I think this ball game is over. I think the series is over. Houston will be an interesting play, I think, tonight. Cavs -9.5. It's a lot in a playoff game, but it feels like this series is over to me. So I might have to look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. We are going Detroit Tigers is our bet of the day at +105. OD, Scooball has been their ace, and their run differential is a great stat. Cashed a lot of tickets on them already. Let's go, fam. Finding out quickly who's good and who's bad is how you bet. I like it. I have over 5.5. Panthers Lightning. I like that. I put that in the hopper. Browns could have drafted Travis Shador and Shiloh. They hired Prime next year. They'll never win a Super Bowl anyway. Fair. Great Monday edition here of the Recap Lunch Hour with me, Guff, Ryan McGuffey, here at the Recap. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Make sure you're looking out for your people, my friends. That's what we got. We got beautiful weather here, and it's time to rock as we get rolling. Can you believe it? April's going to be over here. We are looking right in the face at May and this weekend's Kentucky Derby. It's been the Recap Rush Hour brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow on the Recap Lunch Hour.